I unmuted you right now. So
yeah. Hello, hiding from in time zone for once. It's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
Go ahead and share my screen and do the intro. Welcome to the OSCAL-Compass community meeting. Today is August 27th. Just a reminder for everyone that this meeting is being recorded and will be shared publicly on our YouTube channel to promote transparency and accountability. Your participation in these meetings is an agreement to abide by the OSCAL-Compass Community Code of Conduct, which can be found in the community repository. If everyone could please add their name to, let me scroll back up, as an attendee for today. I don't see any new names or new faces. If I'm incorrect and you want to introduce yourself, please come off mute and give us your name and your interest in OSCAL-Compass. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Lou, if I'm not mistaken, that first topic bullet belongs to you if you wanted to talk through that a bit.
Sure, this is actually a suggestion from Anka in the spirit of what has been done on Caverno, and in order to help people easily give us stars on their, if you go to visit that link, you can see that they have a link there that says, please give us a star. And the suggestion is that we should do something similar on our website. So right at the top, it says star on GitHub to follow, I believe.
I can look into that. It's Chris, if you create an issue, because I'm fiddling with the website right now anyway.
Great. I'm happy to have you take a look at it. I don't know if we should open an issue for that, or if there already is one open, or.
Definitely open an issue for it. I'll put some notes before we get at the end for the topics to discuss.
Great. So is it you or me who's opening the issue? Either way is good.
Can you open the issue, please?
I can. Will do. Please put my name next to it for the action item. Thank you.
All right, great. Let's move to the next one. Lou, I believe this might be you or Anka, if you wanted to speak to this second item.
Sure. Again, the notion here is that there are a bunch of other CNCF projects that declare where the code came from, to give the audience confidence that the code is not it's good code, or at least give confidence of its origin. And so the notion here is for the projects that we have and the websites that we have, is to simply just state the origin and the origin of the code. That's the suggestion. And there was some offline discussion about where and how many places this should appear, and what the rules are for having this statement added. And I asked, there was a place in CNCF where you could ask questions about the rules, and so I've submitted a question about what exactly can we say, and to clarify what the rule is, if this should appear just once, or if it could appear on each one of the websites under the umbrella of OSCAL-Compass. And I've gotten no reply to that inquiry so far.
Yeah. I believe somebody mentioned in that conversation that given that there are multiple projects under OSCAL-Compass and people can directly navigate to either of those projects, right? Rather than going to the OSCAL-Compass organization first, it may be better to add that line to each of those individual projects, maybe at the bottom of the README file or somewhere once, right? Just putting in the OSCAL-Compass, then people may miss that.
So putting it in the README file, but is that still like discoverable? For example, the compliance trestle README file is quite long. And if we put this at the bottom, I think that it would still may be hard to find, or because folks may not scroll all the way down, or they're expecting technical information about the project to be in the main README file. So I will say that I looked at some examples of what other CNCF projects have done. And for example, I think it was Helm had a history page on their website just to talk about the origin of where the project came from and who was involved and kind of the motivation. So that seemed like it could be an idea. So I just wanted to maybe propose that. And then we could link to the history page, maybe on the community repo or in other locations. But what do you guys think of that?
That seems nice. It seems like a lot of work. I'm just looking for something that is, fairly simple, that just labels this code as where it came from. And that's it. That's all I want to say is where it came from, so that people understand that it came from a place that is reliable. And, whether it appears in the README at the top, at the bottom, someplace where, when you visit one of the projects, you can find it. And it doesn't have to be, flashing in red or any other thing, just so that somebody can find it somewhere on the page and they understand its origin. That's
I agree. So let's make the stars part very flashy at the top, and then we can have this at the footer. I think it's also one of the requirements we discussed in the oversight meeting. So as part, one of the tasks is the footer. They don't have any banner. The banner, we put it right with the stars and so on, maybe the version. But they require the footer, and the footer includes exactly that type of text, the license, donated by, and so on. So I think with doing that footer, that's why I added Lou to your to-do list, since you are doing the banner, to do also the footer and to add that comment and open a PR with that. I sent a few examples. This is pretty standard text from what I have seen, right? License comment, donation comment, and so on. I think it's a well understood thing. It's not something that we have invented here. So let's do both in the same time, the footer and the banner, right?
Speaking of footers, the website currently has Google Analytics in it. We probably need to put a GDPR banner in there, because at the moment it's been sitting there pulling Google Analytics. I mean, there's not much traffic on the website, realistically. There's way more traffic in terms of downloads, like orders of magnitude more, compared with the website, from what I can see.
Because people go to Git rather than website, yeah.
Well, that, and the people who go to our website may or may not have an ad blocker on. So as an example, I know my visits wouldn't be counted, but we probably should put a GDPR footer on there. I think we already need to transfer the analytics tag to us.
So I actually was unaware of that. I mean, which analytics are these? Could you give me a pointer? And because in theory, we're supposed to transfer any analytics that we have to CNCF.
I already did that. I already sent an email actually today. Jen and Vikas were CC'd. There was another thing which I did historically, which I'm not sure if it still exists.
I'm sorry, could you back just on this email? Could you just copy me or whatever? Because I've already said that.
Yeah, Lou, do we have or Jen, do we have an issue with the footer?
We do. It's actually coupled with the analytics task. So just anything website related is on one task.
So then, Lou, rather than creating a new issue for the well, no, leave the, because this is only on the OSCAL-Compass landing page, right? The footer would be on the trestle and C2P and so on.
I think it's for the compliance trestle one as well.
It has to be for all of them. So the issue, Jen, is for all 4 places or 5. We have
Well, no,
3 projects. We have OSCAL-Compass landing page, and we have the website.
Well, I think the one which has analytics is just a Compass one. It's a Trestle one. That's the only one which I had analytics in.
So that's what I try to differentiate. We have the footer on 5 places. We have the analytics on 1 place, but we have 1 issue. Do we want to maintain that 1 issue carrying the footer on 5 places, analytics and 1, or do we want to separate?
So I think the footer only needs to go on the websites. It doesn't have to go in any of the readmes. So that might be 2 places, the compliance Trestle website, and then we have the main website that doesn't really have anything in it yet. And it's just,
Well, I
placeholder.
think actually because we have the C2P and we have and so on, and we don't have websites for that. So,
Correct.
so to be fair to the people doing that, I think the footer should go on the README as well.
Which what are we talking about?
The footer about the license and the donation.
Okay.
And then so now if we transfer this analytics to CNCF proper, do we still need the GDPR comment?
Yeah.
Because of
It's a
the,
pop-up.
so the CNCF doesn't do that by themselves? We need to take care?
Can't.
They cannot because it's our own landing page. Okay, good, I got it. Okay. So the GDPR can be already there. So do you have, Lou, the access to that issue to update exactly that? So we have 5 places for the footer, and we need the GDPR even after we transfer analytics to CNCF.
Look, come offline with me. I know what to do.
Okay.
Okay. So
get
take it
together-
offline with Lou. So Jen, we
think
take
about-
care. Lou and Chris will take care of that.
Just make a note in today's notes that we'll do that, and I'll get together with Chris. That sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I think, Jay, you have the hand raised, or you want to make a comment? Or I caught you at the wrong moment.
He's on mute if he's speaking.
Yeah. I think he wanted to share, but now it's not the right moment. We will come back. Okay, when Jay is back, we can.
I did ask Jen, but it's a small thing. Sometimes Jen, doesn't our dev process cause a certain number of downloads?
Yes. So just particularly TrestleBot as a downstream, every time that it rebuilds the image, which is with every CI run, it will pull compliance Trestle.
Yeah, it's the same for us. It's the same
Yeah.
for us with Manjiri. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, no, I do realize that. That's why I said it is orders of magnitude higher, like multiple orders of magnitude. But I can produce a snapshot maybe and send it around or add it onto the channel, but it's pretty low, right now. But I think
Website or downloads?
No, downloads is from PyPy. You can look that up publicly.
Right, so that's why I wanted to see, because I don't think it's a concern, Jen. The same thing for us, right? Every time we are doing that, it downloads. I think I would be interested to see, besides Red Hat and IBM, who are the other entities doing the downloads. We know the GSA is there, CIS is there.
We can't see that.
Oh, we cannot say that?
Not from PyPy. They don't release that information.
So not even the new CNCF tooling will not be able to do that?
No, because we still have the scenes. The only other one that I think we could do around analytics, so this is historical, and VCAS, I'm not sure if you remember this. You can do a little bit of I'm not sure if CNCF have more access because we're on an enterprise GitHub now. But you can get a little bit of analytics out of GitHub, but it's extremely limited. You have to crawl it. So you can figure out who visited your homepage from what your repo from what URL, which is different to the website. That's the actual GitHub homepage. So I did have a Jupyter notebook that was basically crawling the GitHub API to get. You had to run it every day because it was like the last 10 domains to do it. But that one might be worthwhile digging up again. And whether that can go to CNCF or not, I'm not sure, VCAS, if you're still running that notebook.
No, we are not running that notebook. Yeah.
Yeah, so it might, I'm not sure, whoever has admin access, like it's basically crawling the metadata, project metadata.
So at 20,000 downloads per month, we have 700 per day. So doing 10 per day, it's like peanuts.
That's what's, no, that's,
Sorry,
no, no,
doesn't really help.
there's a public, there's a website. There's a website. There's the
I'm only talking about the downloads.
Okay, there's a website that's hitting the GitHub page, the root page, and there's downloads.
Mhm.
All three of those are separate analytics
Correct.
chains. And the only one where we can get really good detailed data at the moment, reliably, is the GitHub page. Everything else, but I'm distracting, so I think we can move on.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to see if we could take the remainder offline and move to
Yeah,
the next
Lou and
topic.
Chris will take it. Okay, let's move forward.
Okay.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see what's next. So we have some existing issues. I think that we've talked a bit about the CNCF onboarding issues. I believe that we have every task assigned to at least a person. The only one missing, I believe, is the Open SSF badge processing. That is not assigned to anybody. There is currently an issue on the milestone for anyone who would like to pick that up. It is located here. This is something I've tried to create a website, or not a website, an account on the OpenSSF website to get this started. We don't have to be meeting all of the criteria just to get started. It will track our progress. So I just wanted to give some information there. Something related is a pull request for the initial security policy that we need to put in place. Now, this is ready for review for anyone who has an opinion about how we could do this. It would require changes on all of the repositories to allow vulnerability reporting. So nothing that we need to get in too deep here. I just wanted to let you guys know that this is waiting for review and it's available. And if anyone can take a look and give their feedback, I'd very much appreciate it.
So Jen, this is different from what we discussed earlier. I have never reviewed that, correct? We discussed something else earlier, which was the Gov review. This is not the Gov review. This is different. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So can you put the link or in the meeting notes or anything where we can go and review that?
I can. Yep.
I see I'm not on the list of reviewers, so it doesn't apply to me.
Yep, that's an oversight. I'll add you.
No, there is no need. You have enough people. So,
So given that we only have 8 minutes left and we do have Ryan here, I would suggest we look at the issue on compliance trestle 1617. But if you guys want to continue talking about the sandbox issue, we could also do that. But I just wanted to kind of bring that forth as an option so we could have a discussion about how to move forward on this particular issue.
let's take what we have offline. We can look at that list offline. Let's address Ryan's problem.
All right, let's look here. So just to give some additional context, this is an epic that was opened so that we can capture requirements for editing non-control driven fields in the SSP. And there has been some discussion, I think, between Ryan and myself on how this can be accomplished, and Ryan gave some good information here on requirements. So my suggestion would be to add this to the current compliance trestle cycle we're working in 12-week cycles to break down epics. And I believe that cycle starts in mid-September. So I wanted to bring this issue to everyone's attention, see if we could get more feedback or ideas on how this could be accomplished, and then have a goal to have a collection of issues in the near future that we could begin working on. But I'll kind of stop for any thoughts or opinions or questions.
Just an opinion. I'm very excited about this work. I also think it is big and meaty, and it might make sense to like have a release that targets, either just the metadata or maybe just diagrams, like really a small piece of it, so we can use it in practice and see how it works, and then expand it to the whole SSP model, rather than trying to get it all correct up front in one release.
Hey Ryan, this is Chris. That makes sense. I think the metadata would be a logical one to start with. I think the big open question you have when we ask diagrams is, what diagram standard are we going to pursue? And the reason I ask that is that like we've done some work with Draw.io, and it's not the nicest tool to integrate into across platforms, and it's also a single vendor open source application effectively. So we might want to think about what kinds of like a meta question is, what kinds of diagram formats do we think we need, and therefore what support? Could we do something with Mermaid? Should integrate more nicely with the ecosystem than Draw.io? So that one might be a much bigger issue to kind of start exploring what SDKs exist in bits and pieces, because that one's definitely been in the back of my mind before.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jen just scrolled to my thoughts on diagrams. I personally use Plant UML for a lot of my diagrams, which is nice because you can, it's just text. But I do think it would be nice to be a little bit diagram agnostic in Trestle.
Yeah. The other question I kind of had was, we're kind of still anchoring this. We're anchoring this off the fields in FedRAMP as a starting point. Okay. I think one thing that I have been trying to do is trying to get a bit better idea of what we might need in some other geographies to kind of try and broaden the perspective on some of these issues as well. So I think I'd like to kind of trace this to see if we can include, but I think FedRAMP's probably the logical starting point for now as that de facto standard, and then we can maybe broaden out afterwards.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to start with FedRAMP. Despite being in GSA, I'm actually not going for FedRAMP ATOs myself. So I can maybe try to help you work on, do that generalization work where, like, I think it makes a lot of sense for the tool to target FedRAMP at first, but yeah, having the ability to generalize it a little bit is also nice.
I think it makes sense to start looking at it, breaking it down.
Sounds good. Does anyone have any objections? Then we could just assign it to that 12-week cycle. And I agree with you, Ryan, as you suggested, we could break it down into issues. They don't all necessarily have to go into the same monthly release. We could scatter them as it makes sense.
I think meta question is some of this going to live in the FedRAMP plugin as well versus the like the map between originally the FedRAMP plugin was for FedRAMP specific things like overlays where you need certain structures versus outside. So that might be something you need to have a look at for the initial implementation.
This is only for FedRAMP?
No, I think it's just that FedRAMP has a defined format that is truly public. So it makes it easier for us to understand what we need to do. Because otherwise you have arbitrary metadata, which you might be able to generate, whereas FedRAMP basically mandates that thou shalt have this. So it gives us a defined task, a defined set of tasks that we actually have to do, as opposed to, well,
As a
I don't
starting
know.
point.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, any generic metadata that we need to edit in SSP should go here, right? But FedRAMP specific stuff would go into that FedRAMP plugin that we already have, right?
Yeah, I think it's more the other section, like the prefix sections, where there might be a huge bulk of information. It's like where someone basically describes their architecture. I think it's some of these sections we want to start managing in the same repository. And what FedRAMP just anchors what they look like in the structure of a document as well. So,
but the architecture section is not FedRAMP specific, right?
no,
It belongs
I
to
think, yeah, I think it's more. Let me step back and say maybe it's understanding. If we pick FedRAMP example, that we should maintain context as to whether something should go in Trestle Core or the FedRAMP plugin.
Well, if you are looking at OSCAL in general, it started with FedRAMP, but it's generic enough. So I think it's not what the source is. I think we need to look from an applicability point of view. If it is generic enough, like OSCAL, to be used, to do this for, I don't know, GDPR, others, it should be in the generic core. But if it is only applicable in the context of FedRAMP, then it goes to FedRAMP.
Yeah, that's fine.
These are definitely things that are applicable to ATOs more broadly than FedRAMP
Okay,
ATOs.
so then Vikas, there you go, you have your answer. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we're at time, but I think we have lots of action items, so that's great. Thank you everyone for joining, and have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or evening.
Thank you. Welcome everybody back from vacation.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.